All right. Hello and welcome to our Coven Chat for episode 4. I'm LJ and this is Wynn from Bleeding Rainbow Comics. We've gotten to know the Agatha Coven of Witches pretty well by this point. So let me introduce you to my coven, or I'm actually going to let them introduce themselves in the best Brady Bunch manner. So let's go with newbies first. Matt, why don't you give yourself an introduction?
Hey, my name's Matt. I am one of the co-hosts of a comedy podcast about comic books and video games called Debate This. You can find us anywhere at Debate This Cast or Debate This, wherever you get your podcasts and stuff. I am also a full-time Marvel sicko. I've seen all of it. I'm that guy, and I'm really, really into Agatha, and I'm really excited to have the opportunity to join you guys. So thanks for having me on.
Yes, please go check him out. And then Finn, let's go for you.
Hey everybody, my name's Finn. I am a drag queen / Marvel nerd. I go by Starlet when I'm in drag, and I am a huge witchcraft fan, huge witchcraft nerd. So this is like my holy grail right now. So
likewise. And then last up but not least up, we have Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan from Vigilante Vibes, a Marvel podcast where we give you all the Marvel talk, but in a non-toxic way. I'm also the group owner of the Nerd Haven on Facebook. So if you're into a non-toxic vibe, come check us out.
Yes, please. So starting just at the beginning of this episode, we start with a very grim opening, also a little quirky. Sharon's burial, or Mrs. Hart's burial, depending on your level of hex / caring about people's identities. Agatha, staring at her body, says, "I didn't think you had it in you." And then the coven proceeds to bicker about losing members and who is at fault. They summon the Green Witch. And Alice is very hesitant to go into the second trial. What do we think about this opening?
I had a feeling someone in this show was going to die. If you would have asked me if I thought it was going to be Deborah Jo Rupp, I would not have believed you. But I did think it was a very fun way to start the episode off.
I agree. I think that her not being like one of the witchier witches of the coven, I think she was most likely to die, even though that was super sad. But also, if they did all 9 episodes with her character, it might have gotten old. So shut up. I think that maybe they killed her off at the right time. I could have kept a little bit more, but the shtick never got old, so they accomplished their goal. I know that they also, Jack Schaefer said that they did that to show that the road had consequences, to have some real danger in it. So while I'm sorry that Mrs. Hart had to pay the price for that, it still was very impactful. Then Megan.
Would you like to go?
No, you got it.
Just both at the same time. We'll just listen to both.
Everyone just figure it out. I thought it was an interesting open. What I did kind of zero in on was the baby's breath that he left on her grave, which is, it signifies purity and innocence, but it also signifies new beginnings. And then who pops up but Rio? So I was like, okay, was that part of some kind of spell that Bill, we don't know he's Billy yet, but I'm going to say he's Billy, that Billy was doing?
Maybe. I had the thought, what if those flowers were just like on Mrs. Hart's person and they were from her garden, so she was just buried with her own flowers?
Why would you say that?
That's so needlessly
I know.
sweet.
We got super dark and super deep last Coven Chat, so that's all Coven Chat is us just finding the most heart-ripping parts of this show. But yeah, I also think it was interesting that they just had Teen digging the grave by himself and then Alice being the protection witch. I'm wondering if Alice feels partially guilty and that's why she went over to help Teen. Because, she is the one that's supposed to protect them all, which we explore a little bit more in this episode. But I agree with the new beginnings and maybe a new beginning of the trials. So they just the tone has a new beginning. So we've shifted from that lighthearted, almost sitcom-y feeling to, all right, bitches, let's get to witches. But yeah, and then we have Blake in the chat saying, poor Kitty didn't deserve that. And I agree. We also have C saying, poor Sharon, she was delightful, but she would have become a burden and the shtick would have gotten old pretty quickly. And I could definitely see that perspective. I think I could have handled her for all 9 episodes because she stole every scene that she was in. But I do think that she might have distracted from like the main point of the show.
That's fine.
That is fine. I'm totally okay with that. But I don't think everybody would have been okay with that.
Agatha would have killed her off if she had become the focal point.
I'm surprised Agatha hasn't killed off more of them, to be honest.
I think if one was
also
alive, Agatha would kill her for making her a spinoff and not an actual show.
Fair. She said, you're going to give me the cheapest MCU show to date? F you. Like, fair. Agatha deserves the most. Actually, no, because I love the practical effects in the show. I feel that it hits way differently. So I'm actually glad that they brought the budget way down because I don't know what it is, if it feels more real or it just feels like there was more passion put into this show. But you can definitely tell on every step of the way. Like, I am loving the props, the costumes, the practical effects. The demon we see later was cool as heck.
Yeah.
But
stuff just looks creepier when it's practical, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the practical... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Megan.
Oh, I was going to say it was the same way in Deadpool and Wolverine. Most of it was practical. So it hit harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing about the practical effects, too, is that it makes the CG look better and look more real. Like the demon being practical on the rafters and then being practical when it's over Alice made that scene of it like flying as a ghost down through the witches look a lot better and feel a lot more realistic. As opposed to like,
a lot more.
Wow, I've been looking at a green screen for like 3 hours, which is how long it felt.
I'm so glad we're kind of slowly going back into practical with a lot of Hollywood stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially with Marvel's gotten a lot of bad rap lately about pushing their CGI artists. So maybe this is kind of a way to bring down costs. Like they're experimenting with where that balance is because they're like, we cannot handle any more bad publicity. But if this is what we get to trade off on that, like, holy crap.
I still don't understand what Agatha said when she said, I didn't think you had it in you.
Yeah. Does anybody have any theories or insight when she's just, because that's the first thing we hear. She's staring at Sharon and she said, I didn't think you had it in you. But I'm confused because clearly Sharon didn't have it in her.
I feel like she fit her role pretty well.
So do we think she wasn't talking to Sharon? Like maybe she's talking about or to somebody else, like indirectly? Like I think that's the only part of the episode where I'm just really lost on.
That was definitely my take. Sorry, Finn, I totally jumped in on you. I'm sorry. I think that she's talking to somebody else. Like it feels to me as though Agatha knows or feels like there is somebody else watching them. And I don't know if that was her talking to the road itself, saying like, I didn't think you had it in you to take like, or to kill someone who isn't actually a witch, or if it's somebody else, who's watching over them, that I think she was talking to that may or may not be summoned in mere moments.
Yeah. I mean, it is meant to be a little confusing because Billy even was like, what are you talking about?
I was about to say, Blake has a good point. As she didn't even have what it takes to be a witch, he thinks that it was just showing of letting us see more of Agatha's ruthlessness, and I can show that because I figured out how to do that last time. And that one. But it's also just Agatha loves to be kind of an asshole. My thing with that, maybe the inflection, I interpreted it wrong. Like, I didn't think you had it in you. Like it just seemed more genuine to me, but maybe it was a choice.
Feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think it felt like she was being sassy.
I thought she was talking to the teen when I first watched it. Yeah, I thought she was talking to
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, because my theory is that it's Billy's soul in Nicholas Scratch's body, and I think her maternal instincts is telling her that that's her son. She thinks that's her son. So I thought she was talking to him because he's the one doing all the work too, and he's the one that like he was the one that had to stand up to Agatha to get her to drink, and then right after that he has to tell them like, she's dead because we all screwed up. So it seems like he's growing a pair, and that kind of like hit my mind, but now I feel like I overreached there.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Tina's the only one that has only been able to do analog magic. So the craft part of the witchcraft. And so the other witches, I think that they're just relying on that because they're used to the witch part of witchcraft. And so I think you are onto something. I don't 100% agree with your theory. I've been doing my own tinfoil hatting.
Let's go.
In reality, it's like she just saw him dig hole big enough for her body with a stick. She's like, I didn't think you had that in you.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right.
Maybe it was just
that
actually.
This little twink over here trying to dig a hole.
She did outrun him in the first episode.
Well,
he did outrun her in the first episode. So.
Well, have you guys ever dug a hole before?
I have dug a hole, yes.
That's no joke.
Many times. I've dug myself into a hole many times.
No, I agree with you.
That one's pretty easy, but that's no joke. I didn't think he had it in him either. That was a big old hole. So, like, good for you, teen.
I think that's a really good take, too, because, like, man, if there's one thing that WandaVision taught me, it's that I tend to overanalyze things. And so it's kind of fun to think of, like, no, she was just talking to the teen.
Dig, twink, dig.
My favorite quote of the day, yes, dig, twink, dig. But I also want to bring up, because this is what I think as well. She says, well, I think Agatha thinks it is Nicholas, though Rio tells her it's not. I think it's Billy Maximoff and Billy Kaplan's body. That was the theory I was talking about. Because I think that when the hex went down, that car crash happened at the same time. And then, they did a little swoop-de-doop with the souls.
See,
so I think Rio or Agatha is hardcore projecting. So Agatha sees her son in him.
But like, you have to think, why would she assume it's him? I think it is his body, but I do think he's Billy Kaplan. She could have left him for dead, traded him for the Darkhold, and then assumed he died. But no, this baby was put into adoption, and this Jewish family adopts him. So it could be all together, Billy Kaplan, but Nicholas's body, because something is telling her that's her son. And I think she was in such a need for power when she wanted the Darkhold. She wasn't in her right mind. She's not under the Darkhold spell anymore. I think it's her maternal instinct telling her this is your son, but she doesn't know. She's never felt that maternal instinct before.
Going on to that, this actually segues into a theory. So at the end of the episode, we have the sigil mentioned again, and we learn that the witch that casts it also forgets it. So Agatha can't say if she put the sigil on Teen or not. What if either Agatha put it on Teen or Teen put it on himself so he forgets? But because of the sigil and his information can't be given away, if he is, and I'll lean into Megan's world for here in a second, if he's in Nicholas Scratch's body, what if on the Coven list, his name was redacted and put as a heart to symbolize Agatha's love for her son, but his name couldn't be there because witch folk can't write it or read it or hear it. So that's why it was redacted and just a heart.
See, I don't know. I could take I could take it two different ways with this theory, though. Either she truly thinks that he is her son, or she just has that motherly instinct towards him and is like pulling him in as a replacement almost psychologically, and she might not even be realizing she's doing that. And then Rio is like, Agatha, this isn't your son. Like, you can't replace your son.
I have
just from a psychological look at it. I don't know. It could be the counselor and me coming out, but
I am also just realizing your black heart earrings.
Yeah, Elworm specifically.
I have this kind of weird theory. I like that Teen put Sigil on himself because that's the boat that I'm in. I think that Teen is actually kind of masterminding this whole situation. My pie in the sky theory, and laugh at me later, I guess, is I think that Teen is Billy Kaplan from a different universe who has come over to this universe trying to hunt down his mother, because I think that it is the Billy Kaplan that got pulled into the Hex from another universe. So that's kind of weird, but I do like Teen putting it on himself, and I'll agree with you there, and that's a good bad sandwich, so maybe you can ignore the thing I said in the middle.
Do they... So I know that they forget if they even put it on themselves. Every witch forgets. I get that.
If they put it on anybody, they forget about the sigil once they cast it.
But would he forget what a sigil was altogether? Because he doesn't know what a sigil is.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But he could also just be lying. If he is Nicholas Scratch's body, like mother, like son, I don't know. But no, I want to know the sigil crap. And I don't feel like we'll learn it until episode 9.
Ben, do you have any opinion?
I'm also Teen did it to themselves, but I could also see it being Rio trying to exact some twisted revenge, because at the end she says he's not yours, which could also imply he doesn't belong to you rather than he's not actually your son. But also I am still kind of team he's Nicholas Scratch, so I take everything I say with a grain of salt.
I mean, I had that feeling too of you could take it two different ways. He's not yours as in he's not your son, or he's not yours as in he's not yours anymore.
Yes.
So there's so many diversions that we can take in a lot of things that are said this episode, things that have double meanings. Like the legend that Alice's mom was lost to the road, or that she died on the road. And then Alice says she died on tour on the road. But I have my own theory to go about that, but I'll bring that up when we get into the recording studio, because we're doing the bookends now. When we get into the middle of the episode, then I'll bring up Lorna and all that stuff. But yes, do you feel validated?
I do.
Yes, you do.
Dude up there.
But yeah, I also think that she's definitely projecting on to Teen. I really just want you to be Nicholas.
She's trying to fill that void that she has. I'm telling you.
I feel it in my black heart.
But then why wouldn't she try to fill it when she was in WandaVision, when she had Billy and Tommy and Wanda? She wasn't under the dark hold then.
Yeah, but think of it this way. She was already messing with Wanda. She knew it was a bad time. And as far as we know, that Billy and Tommy is not real. And she could have known that. But, I mean, she was kind of friendly to them all the way up until she needed to mess with them for Wanda. I mean, she might be a motherly figure, but she's still Agatha.
She killed their dog. I mean.
She did kill their dog.
Pause. Hi, Astro Buff. We also have C says, my theory is Wanda reincarnated the boys and placed the sigil, not realizing that would keep her from finding them. Oh, that's a good one. And then she couldn't. She went to plan B using America to steal the twins. I like that. And I also like the theory that when Wanda was destroyed or whatever, her soul was split into two and created the boys. So they're both part Wanda, technically her real sons, because they're made from her. But I don't know. There's too many theories about Teen.
I have kind of a off the wall theory. I've been pretty hard on the Mephisto theory, but I'm starting to think it's not Mephisto.
Thank
it's actually hey.
Sorry.
I think there's something going on with Jennifer Kale And I think the demon is Hellfire. In the comics, Hellfires was a demon whose host was Andy Cale, Jennifer Cale's brother.
Interesting.
Okay.
So I say the
God.
only connection I have is that Jennifer really wants Rio.
Yeah.
They'd be cute.
Which I mean, same. But
Jennifer can get in line. I really like that idea. So my favorite Marvel hero is Ghost Rider, and every day I wake up hoping that it's the day Ghost Rider comes to the MCU. And when they announced Jennifer Cale was going to be in the show, that was sort of one of my first like clues of where we were headed, because the Cale family is intertwined throughout, 70 years of Ghost Rider history. So I would definitely be into, whether it's that binding spell that we hear about with Jennifer Cale, or, another demon of some sort. I was really, really on the Mephisto train for WandaVision, like the whole way on. And I feel like them giving me one throwaway line in the 3rd episode just to acknowledge that Mephisto exists was all of the validation that I will ever get. And I'm fine with that. So I'm cool if we pivot away from that storyline as well.
I mean, we've gotten a Mephisto mention. We've gotten vampires mentioned now, both from Jennifer Cale within 2 episodes. So I think we're getting closer to your domain, hopefully into like the Midnight Suns territory, where they're really taking Wanda and Agatha and other media. And Jennifer Cale was also a part of Midnight Sun story. So I hope that we go in that route. Especially, I just want them to be really inspired by that PlayStation game that came out 2 years ago at this point, because it was excellent. Let's see. So it can be Chthon 2, the one who created the Darkhold. Now he's pissed they are destroyed. I would be too, Chthon. You worked hard on that, buddy. But I don't know. I still refuse to believe that every version of the Darkhold is destroyed. Like, maybe Strange just thought that, but that's too important of a thing to be destroyed the first time as soon as we're establishing witchcraft in the MCU.
It's kind of a party foul.
We have other books, I guess.
We go into Agatha's house again at the very end, and we just see a sewing room or something, but it's post-it notes all over the walls of notes of the Darkhold.
I remembered it all.
And so now the Darkhold is just a stack of post-it notes.
We're modernizing. It's a Pinterest board.
Yeah.
There are so many questions that have not I don't think they've answered really anything other than more clarification on the doctor with Jen binding her. But other than that, all we've gotten is more questions. So I'm all for it because we still have 5 episodes left. I
mean, that 5th episode's going to hit hard though. They always do.
Yeah.
Remember 97?
Well, this next episode will be the first episode that reviewers didn't get. And so I feel like something big is going to happen. So they had their first 4, and now we're going. I don't know. I just wanted to ramp it.
I'm still pretty surprised nobody died this episode.
Me too.
Almost.
I thought they were just going to slowly.
Yeah. Well, let's get that. Let's go into the trial. So we enter the recording studio, transforming into our wonderful 70s outfits. The Coven splits up and explores the studio. Rio and Agatha share a tender moment, one of a couple in this show, where she tries to get the Coven against Rio. And then Tina unknowingly activates the curse because the record said, "Play me." Alice breaks it, picks it up, and the last part we see before the whole trial starts is the record label, which is Lorna Boo's Ballad of the Witch's Road, her version. And I would like to point out that on track 2 is called The Red-Haired Woman. So yeah,
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Oh, I am obsessive when it comes to Wanda and Agatha. I frame by frame. I have no life or no friends, so this is what brings me joy. So I
did that for WandaVision, and I'm still not over the pain. So I've been trying to do that a little less. I thought it was interesting that nobody just pulled the needle off the record. And that sounds like a joke, but I also mean it seriously. Of like, a record player is not a hard thing to stop from playing.
Yeah. No,
picking it up and smashing it.
it.
Yeah, like it felt really dramatic for what it was. I also just like, I'm living for this. Every trial is a different motif with a different like kitschy thing. I am so into this, and I was having a hard time like looking past how cool the rock ballad was to be like, well, I should pick this apart for theories. I was like, but I'm having too good of a time.
Oh, I have plenty based on lyrics.
Do we know how many more stops they have?
3.
Is it
on the
3
Witch's
more?
Road? I think there are what? 5? Finn, I'm gonna give this one to you.
If we're following the amount of skills, then we have 3 left. But if we're following the number of moon cycles, we've got way too many left.
Yeah.
But also, they kind of like went out of order because waxing moon is phase 2, full is 4. So we're kind of jumping around. So that threw out my theory from last week, but that's fine. I'm not salty.
So if we do have 3 left, I'm just thinking because the last 2 have been like ways to kill witches, like the drowning and then fire. I'm trying to think if there is 3 other ones.
Hanging.
Like it would focus. Yeah, hanging.
Being super mean to them.
I don't know. I just thought it would be neat if there is enough way, like mystery ways that you kill a witch. I don't know what all's in history. It would be each of those. It would be interesting.
I think LJ's on to something with hanging. And I just remember during the Salem witch trials, what they would do to try and force confessions is they would put rocks on the chest of people who were being convicted.
Yeah.
So that could be Earth, is like the piling of rocks on somebody's chest.
And that's how we get the thing. I knew there was a reason for the timing of the show.
So a member of the Nerd Haven actually had a pretty good theory. You guys picked up on the Wizard of Oz vibe with Audrey Plaza skipping down the road, right? So Reginald says the first test was a test of knowledge. The second one was letting go of fear. So applying Wizard of Oz rules, the Jennifer one, if Jennifer is the Scarecrow, Alice is the Lion, maybe Lilia will be the Tin Man, and her test would be about love, which makes sense because Lilia is so emotional, especially in this episode. She is weeping, she's crying, she's happy, she's trying to make Jennifer feel good about what a good job she did with the teen. Like she always has a chip on her shoulder. She's always upset about something. So I think that makes a lot of sense.
As I say, she being a divination witch, I feel like she's more empathetic. And then also this does go into something Kayla said. So what about Lilia and her outburst? For some reason, I feel like it could be other witches speaking through her. I disagree personally. I think that she is just blurting out quotes from later on in the show, like how she did with I must call her Sharon. We know that she's Mrs. Heart at heart.
Yeah, I think she's telling the future and doesn't realize.
Yeah, because she has no idea what's happening because they're like, "Where do you go?" Yeah, or she'll say something and what? But I mean, she does. She's had a lot more of those lately, so maybe it's a blend of the two. Because if not, then they're just giving us a lot of. I think it's just going to get worse and worse the further down the road they get. That's why she just is Alzheimer's by the end of the road. Her thing at the end is just to get her memory and cognitive function back.
But it would be cool to see if it was witches who have seen the future or witches from the future coming back trying to go through her to warn them. So I think like if it's both your theories put together, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I know probably the least about divination capabilities. So everybody help me out. So going through, we talked about activating the curse. Dang teen. Let's talk about lifting the curse. So the coven starts to feel the burning curse, and Alice forms protection circles around them. which maybe she should have done around Mrs. Hart. Alice reveals her scars when they show theirs, showing some vulnerability amongst the Coven. Teen gets thrown through a window. The Coven figures out to perform Lorna's ballad for protection. The cursed demon shows itself and is eventually disintegrated, and the Coven carries a collapsed Teen through the piano exit. First of all, can we just talk about how this ballad was a banger? I have listened to it in at least the double digits today, and about half of those were just from rewatching the episode, but the other half were my morning commute and on my lunch break.
I know. I find myself walking through the house like humming it and stuff.
He likes to sing to the dog mostly.
I do want to say one thing that bugged me in this episode, and I want to mention something from that I didn't get to mention in our last chat that also really bugged me. If they knew that protection circle would keep them from burning, why didn't they draw one around everybody now?
No time.
That was my immediate thought.
As a performer, when it is time to go, it is time to go.
And then from last chat, I wanted to mention when they put in her chemical bottles, they didn't open the bottles.
I loved it.
They threw the bottles in, and it drives me insane every time I watch it.
I love it. It's one of my favorite. And her quote, get out of here. What are you doing? But no, I love when Teen got thrown through the window. Everybody else went to check on him, and then they come back, and Jen is still in her protection circle. I ain't effing around. I'm staying in here. I already got burnt once. I ain't doing it again.
Hashtag relatable.
Also, when every time they cut to Lilia, she's playing a different instrument.
Yeah, I love that. The maracas were the best, but I loved every one of them. It was great. Yes.
I also like how she's I don't want to say she's the most musically gifted because it is Patti LuPone, but also Ali On is a classically trained singer and pianist. So they're both Ali is getting her chance to shine, but Patti LuPone's just there they didn't pay me enough to learn an instrument for this.
The clip of her going, Zins has been in my head all day.
So maybe y'all can answer this question for me because I haven't watched the episode enough to really pick it down, but when Teen got thrown through the window, you have to watch
it 12 times before Coven Chat.
I watched it twice. That's the best I could do. When Teen got thrown through that window, was that the injury that ended up taking him down?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was glass from the window.
And
but the way that the camera angle was, we never saw that until that part of the ballad.
Yeah.
But
that's what I thought. But everybody went into the room and picked him up, and everybody helped him out of the room, and nobody noticed.
That is true.
Listen, they were all burning alive, okay? They have Jen didn't even get out of her circle. She wasn't looking at him. She's just worried that anybody was going to have her sing anything other than alto. But I love this whole sequence. Along with, we already mentioned the practical effects and just them jamming to a different version of the ballad. I am sad. I think this is the last version of the ballad we'll get, which I will be glad to be wrong, but I also don't want them to overdo it. Because I think that the ballads we have gotten have been really solid and meaningful, and I don't really see how they can make another one just as meaningful. I did think it was super cool and creative that they made the song a spell. And so Lorna Wu made it to protect Alice because somewhere in the world, since it was popular, it would always being played. So it would be able to protect her even after Lorna is dead. And I also, if you listen to the lyrics, Alice sings many times at the end, "I'll see you at the end." And so I think Lorna is going to visit Alice at the end of the road.
As a demon, or?
Oh, I don't know. The song didn't tell me. She just said, "I'll see you at the end."
I liked both theories they had within the show of why Lorna wrote the song. Like, first, her daughter thinking, "Oh, she just wanted a huge coven," and it was like the coven.
Her audience, her fans were her coven.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that would be a genius thing for a witch to do." And then they went on and revealed the real reason, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's a genius thing to
do." Like, this show, it's just, people have been whining and complaining about Marvel's writing for years at this point. And I mean, people will still whine and complain about the writing of this show just because that's a buzzword that they know now. But I think the writing of this show is excellent. And there's so much passion in not only, I know I'm saying the word passion a lot, but there is so much. And that also applies to the writing. Like, they cared about every second that went into the show.
Yeah. I love that they're finding fresh new ways to do tropes of the witch stuff. Like I was saying with the concert, the spells, that was 2 different ways that could have been utilized. And it's fresh and new. It's almost like in The Incredibles 2 when they gave Elastigirl all those bike tricks. That was the first time we really saw like a stretchy power be.
And if they don't give Reed Richards the same motorcycle and the same booty, they'll be very upset. I want Pedro Pascal with that pear shape.
I appreciate a good new take on a power.
Yeah.
I love the writers. They're just incredible. Oh, I was saying, I love the writers. They're so incredible. I'm a screenwriter, so I've like watched a lot of her interviews, and just the way that she picks like her writer's room is just to like pick people from different points of life and different like experiences and bring them all together and kind of be like, let's all learn about this together and then write from that point. And it's beautiful. It's so creative, and you can see how many different people have touched it. Like, one thing that like stuck out for me was the Daughters of Liberty joke. Like, that's such a niche Marvel reference.
Yeah. I was about to say, you can tell Jack Schaefer hasn't read every Marvel comic, but she really knows the stuff that she needs to know, or that's relevant to her.
I mean, they do research. It's good. I hate the ones that don't do the research.
Have you heard of them?
Okay. The other thing that I really loved about this whole sequence was that playing the record started the curse, but specifically that it was playing the song backwards, because that was a big thing during like the Satanic Panic in America of like all of these different songs and artists who were hiding messages and magic and curses and stuff through.
I did appreciate that.
Yeah, it was just a really cool way, sort of like you said, Wynn, of like a new way to do an old trope is really cool.
Yes, it's just really neat how they just incorporated just about everything I would think of from the 70s and combined it so beautifully with witchcraft.
And then there's me who would play it backwards on purpose, be like, all right, demon, show up. We making some deals. I want some witchy juice. Let's do it. And then Lily would be talking about me when she says, what a scary bitch. I love the lines in this show. And they said that there's very little improv and that most of it was just good scripting. And like, you can tell what they meant by it. Like, there are such good lines in this show.
And
I'm not a clap talker at all. But
every scene she was in, she was doing some goofy ass thing, and I loved it. It didn't matter if she was just in the background or the focus of the scene. Like, it was beautifully, evilly goofy.
And then speaking of lines that were written very well, as soon as the curse plays, Alice has the only positive reaction to it. She's like, does anybody feel that? I feel lighter. Like, and so you can tell it's because that big ass demon isn't on her perch.
Yeah.
Like, there's just, all of the lines are so nuanced, and you have to think about them. Like, the first watch, you might not understand what every line is for. And I really like that you have to think about it. And especially with a lot of Rio's lines this episode, if you really think about it, you can go down a big rabbit hole.
Well, with the demon thing, it even goes back to like when her mom was like, oh, I felt when your grandma died. Oh, it's because more weight was added to her with the curse.
Yeah.
True.
And I would have been selfish too. I'd have been like having all kinds of kids. I would have like 15 kids.
Share it with me. Share this. We need to
Can we
get
talk
you a
about
better
how-
concept of family.
Talk about how sexist that demon was, though. Like, he went to all the witches and was like, "Oh, just gonna make you a little spicy inside." And then he sees Joe Locke and he's like, "Get the f- out of here!" And gets him stabbed.
Did you
It's like,
see those witches
wow.
though in their outfits? Like, if I wore that, I would just combust into like.
Maybe he was
There
so
was side boob for days.
maybe it was so aggressive with him though, because he's not like a witch.
Which, I think.
I mean, he's
because
done-
the
he's
demon
done more
does come
witchy
after
stuff.
him this time.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I just meant like maybe since he's supposed to be like not in the coven,
Yeah.
he's supposed to be just a normal boy,
But-
essentially.
I think
A
that
real boy.
because he helps them with the summoning spell to summon the Green Witch. Ever since then, there's been more signs that he is considered in the coven. Like the curse affected him. What else was I going to say? I had one more point that it was like in the. What did I say? Because I had this discussion with you. If you listen to me, sometimes he tunes me out.
You know, short-term memory loss.
That's true. But he's been more included. The curse affected him as well. And so I don't know, he didn't get the demon on him, but the demon did attack him. So I'm going to count that as the curse affecting him and just being like, screw you. But he's been more included. He wasn't as on the outside this episode as the last trial.
What do you want to say, Finn? You're
Yeah,
like,
Finn, go
you're
for
like the anticipation
I've got
rate.
I've got a couple of things.
Yeah.
First off, I kind of need to talk about Rio because I feel like it's so painfully obvious that she's gonna be Lady Death. I just like that was one thing where I was like, if that's what like one of the plot twists was supposed to be, that was like a little obvious. It felt kind of like the Agnes twist for me. But like just all the lines of like the don't thing when Teen is outside,
looking
like
right
that.
at him.
Come on, guys.
That hurt.
Yeah, like
That
don't
hurt.
take him.
Yeah.
And then, well, she straight up is like, "You get your power, I get bodies." Like,
Yeah, when they're in the recording booth, when they're having their little discussion, because we had to rewind it and turn subtitles on because it sounds like she says, "I get my buddies," but
you heard buddies, and I heard bunnies.
so he went into scratchy territory. But it does say, "You get your power, I get my bodies." So she's collecting bodies. Agatha is saying, "Don't," when Tina's about to die. Like, they are really layering on the Rio.
She said, "The road pulled me up."
Yeah, I was in the neighborhood, and that was right after Sharon died. So, because that was her reasoning that she was nearby. She said, "I was in the neighborhood, and it just brought the closest witch." Like, girl, why the hell were you in the neighborhood? This is a witch's road.
Well, I don't think they're trying to make it painfully obvious she's death. I think they're trying to make you think she's Mephisto, which very
Honestly,
similar.
Aubrey Plaza could do any of these dark ones.
I just go with death because of all the other hints. I see how it could be Mephisto, definitely. Because
no, I'm not saying it is.
Going to hell. Yeah,
I'm not saying it is Mephisto, but like I think it's doing what it did in WandaVision and making you think everyone is Mephisto, even the dog Sparky. So I think that's what they're trying to make you think. But some people know the comics a little better than others and can see like, okay, we're being gaslit here. And she's death. Let's be real. Yeah. She's death. They're not about to go blow out that Mephisto like 5-year joke they've had going on now just in Agatha.
And if that's where they go with the character, that is perfect casting for Aubrey Plaza in any universe.
Well, and I also think about it. Her knife is very curvy, almost sickle-like. Like I know it doesn't have a curve, but it is very. It'd be a fresh take on a sickle for death.
Her dagger be curved.
I do think it's kind of fun that like they're really selling Aubrey Plaza is, there's something up there, because it does feel like WandaVision, where it was really obvious really early on that like Agatha's got something going on, but they kind of kept under wraps what exactly it was. And so I think it's interesting that like they're really setting Aubrey Plaza up as it's impossible to be 4 episodes in and not think there's something up with Aubrey Plaza's character. I don't even know if we've gotten that her whole name is Rio Vidal yet. I think they've only called her Rio. So like they're really setting her up to pit. Am I wrong? Please correct me if I'm wrong.
You are. The first episode they said this is off. This is
Officer Vidal.
Yeah.
You're so right. You're so right. But it's just interesting that they're kind of like setting her up to, there's clearly more information here. And I kind of feel like they're going to flip that on us sooner than later. And that's not going to be the big reveal at the end. It's going to be, the next episode or something like that.
Well, and I agree, because the MCU is rarely the characters are one for one to the comics anyways. So even if she is deaf, totally could be a combination, like how Sylvie was a Loki and Enchantress hybrid. But a couple of things that I want to bring up. One, I just want to bring this up because it was funny. Even I think I'm Mephisto at this point. And then, have you seen the version of the butterfly meme that is WandaVision's fans? Is this Mephisto?
I haven't seen that.
But before this last one, you know how when they're summoning a green witch and Alice says, please let them bring Advil. Advil
is an anagram.
The doll anagram.
See, and I get that and appreciate it, but I still wanted her to be like, who wanted Advil?
Yes, this one is what got me thinking that she was deaf early on, because the promo tarot card of death is holding Rio's dagger and a black heart. I am somebody who was never good with like metaphors in English class or whatever. So I take things super literally for no reason. I was like, oh, okay, so she's deaf.
I do remember you saying that like last week or something.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm excited to see where they go with that. Like if she isn't, where are they going with it, and what story?
In the first episode, it makes sense to why they can't kill each other. Death probably can't actually kill anybody, because that's kind of conflict of interest job wise. and
you can't kill death.
And you can't kill death. So that makes sense to why they'd be like, well, you can't kill me. Well, you can't either. That's the deal. Like,
in order for somebody to die, I have to go get their body, and I ain't doing it.
Well,
but no,
death can be killed.
Yeah, but it would be a good excuse why. Don't take that away from me. I thought it was scary.
I'm so sorry.
Give him his theory.
I'm so sorry.
But going on, this is a good segue into the end of the show. Where Rio is saying that, like, talking about the past, and I have the quote, a long time ago, I loved someone and I had to do something I did not want to do and it hurt them. She's my scar. So she was talking about how she had to do her job. So I think, what if Agatha didn't even trade her son for the Darkhold? He just died, and she holds it against Rio, if she is deaf, that she had to take Nicholas into death.
Yeah.
And she just holds that against, and that she didn't save Nicholas.
Maybe she didn't even know trading the Darkhold would actually kill Nicholas or take Nicholas from her, and then Death just shows up and takes them.
Does her job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think that there's definitely more to the story there. Like, we're not getting a clear answer on that. Teen asks what happened to Nicholas, and Agatha, she loves to storm off at the end of this episode. So she storms off from that. Rio talks about how Agatha is her scar. And then Agatha storms off. They almost have a tender lesbian moment. And let's be honest, it was hot. And then Rio drops the, he's not yours. So I think that with us getting that much information, there's got to be more to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He never existed in the first place. He was a hex baby, or he was
That's
a Darkhold baby.
Oh, you're back. Oh, you're so back. Okay, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. There have been some like weird notions in the last couple of like properties that have come out from Marvel that like things don't just come into existence. They have to be pulled from somewhere else. Like, you know, there's either a cost in real life or it comes from another universe. The whole dream walking thing being like bouncing through your universal selves. I think that when Wanda created the Hex, she yoinked a Billy Kaplan out of another universe. And that
Yoinks
Billy
being
Kaplan,
the opposite of yeeted. Yoinks.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you get it. And I think that Billy Kaplan, the Hex ended and he went back to his universe and he has this whole life in his head of living with another mother. And now he is trying to, I personally think, use a Darkhold or some like recreation of a Darkhold to walk himself to this universe to try and take down Agatha. Because at the end of WandaVision, the only bad guy that Billy and Tommy really have is Agatha. There's like a fight with the government, but it's not the villain that choked them in the street. So I think that there's a real possibility that like Teen is Billy Kaplan, is also pulling all of the strings, and I think is kind of using Agatha's desire to have her son back. And I think that the reality is just like, I don't remember who said it, and I'm so sorry, but I don't think Agatha traded her son for the Darkhold. I think her son died in service of maybe finding the Darkhold or something, and she's doing everything she can and has been for a long time to bring him back. And now Teen is using her desire to bring him back, even though Rio, possibly Lady Death, is telling her to her face, like, this isn't your boy. I did what I had to do. He's not coming back. I'll get off my soapbox, but
I was going to say, and Cameron is kind of alluding to the same. So it seems Agatha didn't know Nicholas dying would be the trade and begged Rio not to. And when Rio can't break the rule, they broke up. I agree. And that's sad. Also, real quick before we go into that more, bye Astro Buff. Thank you so much. But yeah, it was the first episode when Agatha was interrogating Teen, he says that his fingers were black from the fingerprinting. So if he is using the Darkhold, but also why are his fingers not black now? Maybe it was her self-conscious or subconscious, whatever. Her subconscious saying, hey, there's Darkhold energy on this kid. Even though this version of him didn't use it, because when Wanda dreamwalks, her 838 self doesn't have Darkhold fingers, which is a noun now. So maybe it was just Agatha's subconscious being like, this kid is using Darkhold energy, maybe not this version of him. So, I mean, there is evidence to back up that. I'll give you that one.
Hey, thank you.
I have a funny
why was
thing
his
to
fingers...
add to mine.
Oh, go ahead.
Megan, you know.
I don't know what he was going to say.
Go
I'm
ahead,
so sorry.
Megan.
I just... Why was his fingers black? It was all in her head, in her house.
Fingerprinting.
In her head.
fingerprinting.
What?
Oh,
But-
in the house.
But were they?
That's what I'm saying.
Were they actually black, or did she just see them that way?
He was applying his eyeliner.
That's probably true. He was like, I want to be a Darkhold baby.
That's all
I'm
I
now
have
like
to say.
picturing her forcing his hand into like an eyeliner.
I want to add to my post-it note theory.
Uh-huh.
From now on, their fingers turn yellow.
Because it's a post-it note, not Wondagore.
Yeah. So Rio climbed out of Miss Hart's grave, right?
She climbed right out of Miss Hart.
I think
Did.
this is me just wanting her back. I think
no.
that Rio is kind of doing a dream walking with her body, and they just see Rio because it's not the right mind in the body. And she's carrying Miss Hart's body along the road. And at the end, Miss Hart will be able to be revived.
If one be gone, we carry on. Spirit as our guide, meaning that their spirit stays with the coven.
I hope that you're right, because I want more Deborah Jo Rupp. Yeah.
Any theory that supports Mrs. Hart coming back.
I need her.
Well, and now
She
she
was the
didn't
heart and
have to
soul.
get. She didn't have to get, in Jen's words, Alice's family's old ass cursed. So she at least got to skip a trial if that's true. So good for her.
Yeah.
I don't think Rio gets affected by the trials, though.
It doesn't
No,
seem
never
like
It
touched
it.
never,
Yeah.
it never came for her. It came for Teen instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't have to cover her ears
Weird.
when it started playing. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think she's affected.
It's almost like
Yeah,
she's an
she's reading the
entity or
newspaper.
something.
Yeah. What an outlandish theory, Megan. I don't know what you're talking
Megan's
about.
like pointing at a sign that's lighting up, like right here.
Yeah.
It's right here, you guys.
It's right
No,
there.
it was great when
Report is
they're in the
true.
recording studio and Rio's just on the couch reading the newspaper. It's the curse. Like, she's not concerned in the slightest. She's just there to be sarcastic and drum.
Love it.
Well, something I
what we
did
wanted.
find interesting is the way that Rio acts is that she's never been on the road before. So if that's the case,
Mhm.
who was the one witch that came back with Agatha the first time?
Yeah.
She didn't go.
Yeah.
Well, I interpreted that as Agatha was saying that only Agatha came back.
Mhm.
Of like how
Well,
many
they
witches
said-
made it back.
Well, they said how many came back with you,
Yeah.
and she
I'm
said
on Megan's
one.
side. That
She
felt
should be.
like intentionally that felt like intentionally ambiguous of like it looks like Agatha is saying only one witch made it back, but the real answer
Yeah.
to the question is that one came back with her.
Yeah, and wouldn't she go down the road for the Darkhold?
I would think.
So,
like,
who
I
came-
just assume that's how
who
he
came
got
back?
it. So
Yeah, so who came back with her?
Sparky.
It wasn't Rio. Rio's never been there. Was it Nicholas? And like we're actually not under. There's way more to it.
yeah.
I think Nicholas
I don't know.
would have been too young. No.
I mean, they're
Mhm.
witches. It's hard to
Pretty
tell. I mean,
there's-
Agatha's
there's a-
lived thousands.
There's a perfectly
Yes.
normal human boy whose name is Teen on the road right now. So I think
That's a fair point.
I think that's out the window. Yeah.
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 They healed his glass to the sternum there with moonlight. So yeah,
Yeah.
moon water.
I'm gonna steal that honestly because I hurt myself all the time. So I'm gonna learn that chant, get some water in the moonlight. I
mean,
really don't like to go outside though, so that's an issue. We'll get through it. We'll get through it.
There was a lot.
Moon
of
water's a real witchcraft thing. I know a lot of like witches just put it at their window and they just charge it with the moon, and it's moon water. It's like a thing.
What do
Say
you
they
do
charge
with it?
They
Yeah.
charge it?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you charge your tarot cards with moonlight. Like a lot of witches leave it in the moonlight to charge during the nighttime. You're not allowed to do it during the daytime because the sunlight will warp your cards.
Okay, fine.
But and,
Let's say in
and
the
as Cole
world,
was saying, you charge crystals also.
we'll say in the world where a radioactive spider will bite you and give you powers. Then
That's not realistic.
Well, okay.
I feel like
guess
anything is possible.
anything is possible, but I just want to know the details here. You have to charge it. What happens when it does not charge? Like it dies. Like I don't know.
I think
Then
it's more
just
of like
water. It's
imbuing
water.
it with energy rather than like actually charging it. Like I don't think it's like a recharge thing.
I do
Oh.
like that moon water has a battery life. I think that's fun.
Now, if we can figure out how to like power cars with that stuff, go.
Oh, we fixed it. We're doing it. Environment saved.
Environment
Cars run on
thing.
moon water.
Check that off the list. Great.
I mean, that is what I use to try to power my broom. Also, I do agree with Jamie Lynn that Megan might be broken.
I might be broken. Oh.
I look over
Dang
at
it,
Megan's little rectangle and we see.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Cue Megan
It's just
running
my
through the sprinklers at night.
Charge me.
Well, okay.
That gives such
Three
what's
different-
her face from Hocus Pocus. What's the blonde one?
Listen.
Sarah.
Sarah. That gives such charge me moon water.
Yeah.
But she would be naked while she runs through the sprinklers.
Come up.
Come up.
Well, it's like 3 different people said they use moon water to charge something, and you guys are using the word charge in this economy, acting like we don't all use it for our phones.
This is magic. There's no economy.
In this economy.
In
Charge
this
my moon
economy, and then everyone's saying, "Oh, I use moon water," and you're like, "For fucking what? What are you using it for?" Like, I don't get it. Like, is it like a skincare thing? Like, am I missing out? Like, this is all a new world for me.
It's
I
a
just want to know.
spiritual energy. And it can heal your tummy when you get a cut.
Oh, that's nice.
What?
I'll try that.
Can it help with weight loss? If
No,
I
that's
charge
Ozempic.
water in the moonlight, I'll
Asking
charge
for
my
a friend.
outside.
See, I knew about this
They're like,
technology long ago. I put these little lights in my yard. The sun shines on them, and then they glow at night.
You got
Okay,
those from
so-
Amazon.
Humans are actually so
All right. So Jamie Lynn says it's about charging and more about the amount of time it spends absorbing the moonlight. Okay, then what? What
Then you
happens
use it
after?
to heal your tummy.
Then
Megan,
it's
come on.
witchy, and you pour it on yourself, or
And-
onto your Ozempic, or onto your
You're
car,
using-
your phone.
Yeah. Charge everything. Bring the divine feminine into your life with moon water.
First
I
of
could
all,
not be a witch.
I got enough
This is too
divine
much.
feminine in my life, but no, I think we need to give Megan a master class in witchcraft,
Do it.
which I'm all for.
Okay, so I had one thing that I came on this show to talk about today, and I wanted to know if you
Let's
guys
go.
also noticed it. So LJ and Wen, you said you got up and turned the captions on. Finn, Megan, did you guys watch with captions?
Yes.
I
I have
did.
ADHD.
I'm like partially deaf, so
Same.
that's
Okay.
on me.
I don't. Yeah.
So we're spelling magic with a K now. That's
Okay.
new.
No, sorry. Finish your theory. My bad. My
That's
bad.
it. That's it. That's the end. Period.
Is it
I
in
so-
which world? No, it's spelled with a K, right?
Yeah.
right. We've been doing magic and Marvel for a hot minute, and they have never in any of the captions spelled it with a K. And I think that
Yeah, but they're leaning into it now.
I think they're leaning
just-
into being more of an authentic representation,
Yeah,
and also it just makes it sound
I
more
don't
ancient.
think it's referencing Matt.
Ileana.
I also okay, no. I also don't think that it's referencing
Okay.
Ileana Rasputin. That's just with the K. I don't think magic
Yeah.
X-Man is CK. I think it's just K.
It's just
Um,
okay.
Oh, is
No,
it?
but
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
I knew
wondering
there was
if
a K in it. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is Marvel denoting a different magic, that sorcerer's magic and witchcraft magic are innately different, which has kind of been mentioned in Multiverse of
Yeah,
Say
Madness.
we
Yeah.
said that in the
it's true. Multiverse. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just really stuck out to me that they are intentionally spelling it different in the captions, and I feel like that's important. And I don't know why, but I just wanted to see if anybody else noticed that.
the caption
think you're
person
right.
that did it was just like, wait, how does Marvel spell magic? And then they just looked it up, and that was the first thing that popped up. I'm like, okay. No, I like it. I think that this is them putting an intentional effort into expanding the magic corner, specifically the witchcraft corner of the MCU. So if we go further into this, then they have more uniqueness and authenticity to a degree. But no, I also think that it just feels right.
So with Rio referring to someone called Magic, Rio was talking about when she was summoned. So Magic did call to her when all the whole coven called her. So that's what Rio's talking about. I cannot let myself get even a little bit into the idea that it's Ileana because I'm too much of an X-Men fan. I can't handle that. Oh yeah, see, I'm too much.
Let's get the main mutants in here before we start adding in like Ileana and like we haven't like I want to see Colossus before I would Ileana just to help.
I disagree.
That
I also disagree.
So we've already seen plenty of Colossus and we've seen a little bit of Ileana just in like New Mutants.
Okay, but New Mutants is pretty bad. I don't know that we can count New Mutants.
That's why we're moving toward Ileana. But I like Magic with the Midnight Suns. So if that's the route we're heading, I'm totally for it.
I'm bored, yeah.
That's agreed 100%.
Because if we want to talk about bad bitches, yes.
I'm just ready for Max, man.
Me too, but I'm enjoying this. And I feel like this is the thing I'm going to enjoy most for Marvel for the next several years. So I just got to live in the moment. I'm going to die when Fantastic Four comes out. But other than that, like I'm at a 10 level excitement. But my obsessive compulsive Marvel need for witchy stuff, like I have not been this invested in something since WandaVision.
Megan, would you like to see the X-Men 97 get turned into the live action?
Like specifically those versions?
Yeah, like they jump in.
No, I don't think
so. Look at her
shirt.
She hates X-Men.
No, I actually would like to see X-Men 97 be its own thing because I think they've found a groove. They keep that groove. I don't want them interfering with it.
Yeah.
See, I'm afraid that now they've changed too much, and so season 1 might be the best season. I want to be wrong, and I hope I am.
Well,
but I'm scared
okay, wait. Lenore Zan herself told me season 2 is better.
Okay.
I mean, that's
is she talking about the first version of it or the rewrote version of it?
The one that we're waiting on right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll still be good. The only reason why I say the 97 come over in live action is let's get 2 and 3 out because we know they're coming. I worry.
Seasons.
Yeah, seasons.
Okay.
I worry that with streaming shows now, they don't really last past 3 seasons a lot of the time. So if we're done with 97, let's just bring those characters in and reuse them.
I think they were done so well, but I also think that we're going to have to skew a little younger when they're introduced live action.
Well, okay, so a few things. They're planning on going past season 3. They said that they want to take it as far as it can go. That's what Brad Winderbaum, the head of Marvel Animation, said.
Which I would love to see, but
X-Men 2052.
I mean, people say stuff all the time.
Yeah. They do, but Brad Winderbaum usually only says things he knows for a fact because it's his job. It's not just like it's not like rumors or talking on a podcast. It's that he's in charge of that. But with the rewritten thing, there's no proof it was rewritten. It was, and Bo DeMaio didn't finish it. They had to change. Yeah. They had to finish it, but they didn't rewrite the whole thing.
And everything that he says, you got to take with a grain of salt, right?
Well, the only reason why I say maybe it won't last is because we'll be getting out of the Bo DeMaio writing at that point, and what if it tanks?
Yeah. If it does, Marvel does figure a way in or out and bring someone in, or they're like, "Hey, look, the new animated Spider-Man! How wild!" So something will happen.
And I mean, it doesn't exactly have to be these ones. I just thought it would be a simple way to get that 90s nostalgia in with the live action. And you wouldn't have to explain why they're all like very 90s-esque when it's...
You just want an entire 90s MCU.
But I also think it would be wise for them not to start with the usual X-Men lineup. Like if you want to start with the OG X-Men lineup, that would be cool. Or don't start with the X-Men at all. Start with someone else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jubilee is the only X-Man.
I would like to see the actual first original X-Men team because, like, those are a lot of my favorites anyway. Like, I love Bobby, I also want to see Bobby in the snow version because that's my favorite version.
Yes.
I don't
Mine
like the
too.
ice version. Like, he's cool, he looks cool, but it's not different enough. Like, you have Emma Frost running around here with the last name Frost, but she's Diamond, but it's still comic books. It all looks the same. So
I like the ice version.
So I think we need a snowman, Bobby.
There'd be too many memes about Bobby the snowman.
Which makes it better. I got us a little off topic. Sorry.
Dang it. We're here to be witchy, not frosty.
Well, I mean, magic. We were talking about magic.
Yeah. That is how we got there.
Segue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's got a little new magic boyfriend nowadays that keeps him solid. But
yeah, speaking back about Agatha, the quotes are really, really amazing in this episode. She's covered in nipples.
I was gonna say that's my favorite quote from the entire thing. You guys don't have extra nipples? I'm covered in nipples. Want to see? What? I also have many nipples. Specifically all of them down my back. And some of them are functional, but not all of them.
That is fascinating.
How many of them are functional?
I have to share this.
And what do you mean functional?
Don't worry about it.
Oh.
You might not want to know. I also agree with Cameron. We're going back to Bobby for a second, except for sure they're going to do Bobby as gay. I hope so. They better at this point because
dude, when they come out with Bobby, it would be very problematic. We would all riot. But I think when they bring out Billy, you have to get Cameron on the show because he is the biggest Billy fan of all time.
I agree. And I'm trying to work on the schedule.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it happen. I've been working on that for the past couple of days.
Good.
Dibs on being here.
I want him to be in this chat.
Kit Connor doesn't want to be Hulkling.
And I don't blame him for that because I think that Kit and Joe need to not do every project.
No, they don't.
Together.
But I want them to tank their careers for me. So,
well, I don't think that I would be fine if Kit was Hulkling, but not if he was introduced in this show. I think that they need time. They need to have a couple of different roles to establish them as separately. And then in a few years, once Kit is known for other things too, then he can be repaired up with Joe. But I don't want them to do back-to-back. I don't think that would be good for either of their careers.
That's
and
fine. Because
I hold them too near and dear for them to just tank their careers for my selfishness.
Well,
so I'm not with you.
If they went that route, at least the actors would be older by then and people wouldn't riot about like, oh, they're making the kids gay together.
They're making the kids gay together. It's very funny.
According to the parents of all of my students, I'm the reason that some of them are gay anyway. So you know what? Whatever. You win some, you lose some.
So,
but
tell them to check out Agatha.
I think that would be
good.
bad.
God.
Oh, I already did.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, I'm like, all right, kids, 9 p.m. We're getting witchy and gay as hell.
You got to go get your dose of gay, kids. I
pride flags.
Yeah.
I love that this show is gonna be the new bar for gay in the MCU because this show feels like the show where it'll be easiest for them to like push the boundary without the people watching the show getting really upset about it. And so then like when they make Captain America 4, they can just have two dudes kiss and be like, well, Agatha did it first, so it's cool now. I'm interested in or they can push that line.
Only if it's Sam Wilson and Bucky.
Bucky Barnes.
To make up for the relationship that Steve and Bucky lost.
I'm feeling this new Falcon.
Honestly, you're right.
Yeah,
Torres. Yep. You know what?
Stop
as much
trying
of
to
him
make
as I can get in that movie.
Y'all stop making my man gay. He's just waiting for me. He's not gay.
First of all, Megan, bisexual is a thing. Okay,
it's true.
We'll share them. It's fine.
But he only has eyes for me. But you guys don't get it. Oh my god.
Well, that's
fine.
We
what I
don't need
said
the
about
eyes. We need the
Here
other
we are
bit.
now.
You know what? I'll compromise. You can have his top half. I'll take the lower half.
At least a couple of halves, though. Don't want it to separate up.
All
the
right.
list. Give me like 2 or 4 halves.
Can we like switch off on the weekends or like how does this work?
Yeah, you get
Both
weekends and every
halves are-
third Wednesday.
Yeah,
Nope, you drew your
both
line in
halves
the
are very
sand.
useful. Well,
What is
that's
happening?
enjoy
All
his enjoy his feet.
Maybe I will.
Okay.
I changed my mind. I want the top half.
I'm so sorry.
I'll take
You
split picks and sell
you
them
drew your
online.
line in the sand. You drew your line in the sand.
How
I'm
did
so
we
sorry
get
to all
here?
the listeners and watchers.
I
All
have
of
to
us-
say at least one absurd thing to throw Megan off because last time when she was like, "Oh, poor innocent Wynn," I can't believe you said that.
He's not. He's the worst out of all of us.
I had
He's
to
slowly
throw
showing you.
something
He's,
in.
he's just so sweet. And then he says things
Uh.
like that, and it's like, okay, witch, got it. It's Agatha
See,
vibe.
he's sweet to you.
That's true.
He gets it all out on the live stream. I have one more very important question. I try to at least think of one related question to the episode for every Coven Chat before we sign off.
I mean,
And
it's not
I-
a Coven Chat without going 20 minutes over.
That's true. But this week's question, because we usually only have time for one anyway, so I make like 25. So Lorna Wu made her version of the ballad as a protection spell for Alice. What song would serve as your protection spell? Like if you could choose one song in the world for your protection spell, what would it be?
I have my answer. I'm ready to go. I need no time. To
Okay.
think.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Follow me here. This is
Spotify.
I am so sorry for bringing the cisgendered white dude energy to this episode. However, my protection song is Santeria by Sublime, and I'll tell you why. It is the one song that consistently, no matter how hammered I am, I remember every word. It does not matter what level of drunk I am. If Santeria by Sublime comes on the radio, I will sing every word. So I think that has to be it. And I'm not proud of that, but I'm willing to admit it here on this.
Own your
on this
truth.
Coven
Own
Chat.
it. If you're
Yeah.
going to choose it, own it.
Now, good luck matching my freak and all that, but Santeria by Sublime.
I got you because I thought about this. So I went through my karaoke playlist, and there are 2 songs that I relate to the most. One is Creep, Radiohead. So I'm choosing that one because that's like my soul song, other than Dancing on My Own, the Callum Scott version, or the Robin version. I don't care. But also think about how often Creep is played. And so if I'm doing a protection spell with one of my favorite songs, like Creep 100% is being played at all times. So I'm good. Like,
I didn't think about it that way.
yeah, I'm not picking some obscure song. I'd be protected for like 3 minutes a year. No. Like if I picked any of my music, I would be dead.
Yeah, dang.
Nobody's playing my stuff.
I didn't understand the assignment.
It's okay. You can just go through pain and pick a song you like.
I picked Vienna by Billy Joel because that's the song I always go to for comfort.
So you might be safe like 3 minutes a week.
I'll be those 3 minutes when I'll be 3 minutes.
A blissful 3. You have your bowl of moon water, just breathing, charging, using it to heal your tummy wounds.
I
listening
also
to your
like
song.
Don't Fear the Reaper, but I don't know. I think I like Billy Joel better.
Don't Fear the Reaper would be a good fit for this though.
Yeah, it'd be a good theme.
Yeah.
But I used to
Vienna
sing,
not so much, but whatever.
I used to sing that in the car with my mom when I was like 3, and we'd go to a car wash.
Everything you did at the age of 3 was so age appropriate.
I know.
All right, what about y'all, Megan, Finn?
I have mine if you need more time, Megan.
Let's
Oh,
hear
please
it.
go.
Oh, okay. So mine was
excellent
a little
team.
bit of a younger song. Mine is Cult of Dionysus. If anyone knows that song, I really hope somebody here does, because otherwise I think it's time for me to leave. But I just like latched onto that song, same as Matt. If in any condition I'm in, I will know all the words to that song. And oh my god, not Baby Shark.
Yeah.
That's
It would be playing at all times.
I mean,
Ever with that.
I changed mine, but I want Finn to finish first.
Oh, I was just gonna say that song is the anthem for every queer depressed kid between the ages of 13 and 17. So I'm protected. I'm good.
you have to
See,
send that to
don't-
me. I want to hear it. I'll have to look it up.
Yes, please send that to me.
Will do.
I don't know it because I am not between the ages of 13 and 17. I'm like 100 at this point, so don't hold that against me.
I'm not between the ages
so
either. I'm just still depressed.
I'm like
You are much closer though.
I'm the oldest one here.
You are like 400. You're older. You're older
Wait.
than Lilia.
Wait, how
but
old are
I'm
you,
changing my
Vin?
song.
How old do you think I am?
Be brutal. How old is he? Look
20s?
at the bags under his eyes. Look at that.
I thought 20s.
Actually,
No?
let's play that game. How old is everybody? Let's take some guesses.
I am 36.
You do have me beat.
In
There you
10
go.
in 10 years? What?
Thank you.
I don't. I
No,
don't
trust
believe
me. This is not a high quality camera. We're only in 1080p right now. He's 36 going on 136.
I'm old.
How
Oh
old
my
does everybody think I am out of curiosity? And
I
this
don't
one,
really
yes, be
believe either
careful.
of you. I don't really believe either of you, so
I'm
I
not
think you're
even gonna
both
try.
lying.
But I will say I'm not nearly as old as he is.
Well, I don't
I'm-
believe his age, so like
We went to college
25.
together. I think
Yeah,
I
I
know.
guess
Shut up, Matt.
hey Matt,
You're not
how
allowed
old
to
are
answer
you?
this.
I'm
Hey, Matt, how old are you?
31.
Hey, LJ, I think you're 31.
Hey, jerk, I'm only 30, first of all. I'm 31 next month. So,
Oh,
Aw,
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
but yeah, so we got grandpa.
birthday.
But yeah, we're both well above the 13 to 17 threshold. Going back to that. But going back to my other point, I do change my song. I pick the song that is played at all times, the Bluey theme song.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I'm
and yes.
done.
I would be safe forever from My Home Alone.
It is the best show in the world.
It
It's
is.
the best
I-
show ever made.
I would tie it with Agatha, to be honest.
Megan,
Like, if y'all haven't
looks
been
I would
like
watching
say
a
Bluey, get a drink, get a Bluey,
I-
go for it.
I said Cha Cha Slide because that's going to play for the rest of our lives and everyone else's lives. And it's
That-
played our whole lives.
No.
So
that's
That
a
is
fair
fair.
point.
At my work, we literally do the cha-cha slide every time we add a member to our.
and I thank you for
I
that.
would
You've kept
quit
me safe.
immediately. While you've been saving Megan, you've been harming the rest of us.
Please continue. You
Oh.
could do that.
I
Bye,
did.
bye, bye.
I did. Excuse me.
Yes.
Really love that. Like in my head, Lorna Wu is very Stevie Nicks coded,
Oh yeah, 100%.
and I really like that. So it's like, well, somebody's playing Rumors all the time, so she's
Yeah.
good.
Well, it was
Yeah.
hilarious because the first time we watched it, you were like, would that
Don't
really?
quote me before I know what you're going to say.
You said
It's
something
scary.
along the lines of like, would that really be played like 24/7 somewhere, like all the time? And I was like, well, it had Stevie Nicks vibes, and ironically, I was listening to Stevie Nicks on the way home before this show. So
I said
I
it
think
last
it would.
last episode that it was going to be Stevie Nicks vibes,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Oh, you
And
did
if-
say
I
that.
mean, she go by like the White Witch or something like that
Yeah,
as well. So it makes sense that they would go with a Stevie Nicks theme.
Oh, I think we're going to
I
get
knew
into
because I used
different type of
the-
witchy stuff next episode.
Yeah, the Moonwater told you.
Do we think, because I have been purposefully avoiding more and more promos for the show just because the first two, by the time I had actually watched it, I had felt like I had seen the entire episode. Based on, because Megan, I know you see everything because you have to filter through everything. Do we think that the next episode is the one where Lilia is dressed as Glinda and Agatha is Alphaba?
I think that's probably
is that the route we're going?
I think it's the next episode.
Because that's the only other thing that I have seen in a promo is of that episode.
Mm-hmm. I think that'll be the campiest, and I think that's why it's in the middle.
I think it's either that or they'll have a lot of flashbacks, and either one. I could see.
Oh wait, I have seen that one slumber party.
I don't think that's the next one though. I don't think that's the next one. We just had like a demony, creepy one this week. I don't think they're going to do another one. Right?
That's true. They might want to break it up.
I think they're going to break it up with the campy one of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
those are probably the next two, regardless of order.
I would say that is the next two.
I think the only thing that would change that in my head is if there's like a flashback bottle episode where we're off the road for a full episode. And I could see that being the next one, as like we've gotten 4. That's the story. Like we have no idea what the Salem 7 is up to right now.
That's true. I totally forgot about that.
Like we have no idea what's going on in Westview. So I could see the 5th episode being off the road and like almost its own bottle. Or that could
next
be episode.
The next episode, just flashback to when Agatha was in the Hex, and it's just the perspective of the neighbors. That's what I need.
Yeah.
I'd watch an entire 20 episode season.
And we'd get Mrs. Hart back.
That's true. I mean, that would make sense. Even in WandaVision, episode 4 is when they kind of went outside of the Hex and changed it up a little bit. So now that we've done a couple of trials, it would make sense to break it up a little bit. That way we don't get repetitive. Which I think between last episode and this episode, they did an excellent job of making it feel different.
That's what I wrote it in my notes. I said that we're either getting Salem 7 back next episode, or we're going to get a very flashback heavy episode, because it would be too late to try and tie the Salem 7 in episode 6, because then you've got 3 left to bring it in.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say either that, or they're going to save the flashback episode till the end like WandaVision did and just have an entire flashback episode to build up to the finale or something.
Or it's not a flashback episode. They're just going back and forth between the 7
the same
and
writer.
The campiness. Like maybe they can't hold a whole episode of camp like that with the Wizard of Oz. So they go and show the 7 in between or something.
True. Well, I mean, the Wizard of Oz one, the promo that I remember is Lilia in the outfit, like floating up. The Salem 7 attacks Lilia, and it looks like they're in the road. So I think that the Salem 7 gets to the road. And so maybe next week is Lilia's end, if it's that episode, which would be really sad.
I mean, they got to do something. After. It's weird that they would say this, like even bring them in if they're not going to do anything else with them.
I mean, I personally like that they held off on them thus far, because I wanted to get more invested in the Coven itself. So that way I could be more invested in what happens to the Coven. I think, because that's my problem right now with Alice. I don't think that we connected enough with Alice before her big episode. That was my only critique about this episode. Like, I feel more connected to everybody else in the Coven, and we had an entire Alice episode. So while I do feel more connected to her now, I kind of wish that I felt more connected to her before this episode started, which makes sense because she was very guarded. But I just want to be part of the Coven and secretly want to connect all of them. So, but I'm okay that they kind of held off the Salem 7. They said, hey, this is a threat, but we're going to revisit it later. I'm fine with it.
I agree.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Megan,
anybody else have anything to add?
Did I what?
Did you ever give us your song?
The Cha-Cha Slide, girl.
Oh, yes, you did. You did. Sorry.
I appreciate you looking out, though.
Yeah.
For episode 4 of Agatha All Along, does anybody else have anything they want to add before we sign off?
Oh, I do.
Yes.
Everyone's gay except Lilia, and I think that's funny as hell. I think it's so funny.
How do you know Lilia is not?
I mean, we don't know yet, but I could see her being the one straight person in the group of, like, obviously queer witches, and I love it.
She's just the protective grandma of the group.
Yeah. It makes me so happy. I saw a meme that was like all of them like saying, all of the Coven being like saying the lines that they said about liking women, and then Lilia saying, okay, is there anyone here who likes men? And Joe Locke is just in the corner.
With his voice.
Okay,
that's amazing. I mean, maybe that's why I connect to this show so much. Because being very hetero myself, I just like to see others' perspectives. But I'm going to say that is all for this episode of Coven Chat. If you could, I would like to go through, everybody plug yourself. What are you doing? Where should everybody find you at? What's your favorite color? And how many sacrifices have you done today on humans? Let's do same order. Matt, go for it.
Yeah, my name's Matt. Thanks for having me on. I had a very good time and I really enjoyed this. I am the co-host of a podcast called Debate This. You can find us wherever you cast pods by searching Debate This, or on social media at Debate This Cast. We also sometimes talk about comic book and Marvel movies and stuff on another podcast called Avenge This, if that's your kind of thing. And if you want more of me, you can follow me on socials. It's MC_DJ_MC. My favorite color is green. I have done 3 sacrifices today.
Wonderful. And if you're not into that type of stuff, why are you watching this video anyway? Get out of here.
Because we're so cute.
I can vouch. All right. And then let's see. Fenn, did you go next?
I think I did.
Go for it.
It was a great show. Love having this time with you guys. If you would like to follow me, I'm at starlet.mua. Follow for some fun drag content and me ranting about TV on my story. My favorite color is like teal blue. And for legal reasons, I can't mention how many sacrifices I've made today. I will take no questions.
What about you, Megan?
How do I follow that up? I mean, dang.
You have to do it.
Follow me
do your entire plug and Rio's The Green Witch. I am Megan. Vigilante Vibes.
I cannot do that. I am so sorry. I cannot do that.
Don't do that.
You can follow me on Twitter at Megan the Gangsta. You can follow me on Facebook at The Nerd Haven. You can follow my podcast everywhere, Vigilante Vibes Podcast. You can check out my comic reviews on nerdinitiative.com. Today, my favorite color is blue, like a light blue, like this blue. And my number of people I have sacrificed and the number of people I wanted to sacrifice are vastly different. So I think I'm showing progress.
All righty. Agreed. The amount, I unfortunately have not had a lot of free time today, so I have only done like a couple of sacrifices, but they really deserved it and I couldn't wait. I will say, so I am LJ from Bleeding Rainbow Comics. For those of you that are tuning in from various different places, I will say follow us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Threads, on TikTok, on Instagram. And I would definitely follow and subscribe now because we have some exciting stuff coming soon about our own content. There might be some releases in the very, very near future. I'll do the Agatha wink. So yes, give us a follow, look for all of that fun information. And we are excited to be bringing you more stuff, not just Agatha related, of original content. So
you didn't give your favorite color.
Dang it.
I didn't give anything.
That's fine. But my favorite color is somewhere between blue and fuchsia.
I like pink, and I don't know how to count. So
because you're gay. But thank you for joining us, all 3 of you, and everybody watching and participating from the comfort of your own technology. For Bleeding Rainbow Comics, I'm LJ.
I'm Win.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.